The news coming out of Marvel lately has been pretty terrible, and things don't seem to be getting any better. Shows like Daredevil are getting completely rebooted, and others like Wonder Man are getting cancelled outright. Their movies haven't even been making their money back, with most struggling to break even save for a rare few like Guardians 3. The future doesn't look much better either, with the X-Men seemingly being reworked to please the ever-elusive modern audience, in a decision that has proven time and time again to be box office poison. As a whole, Marvel has been struggling, so more bad news is the last thing they needed. Sensing their opportunity to add to the pain, Captain Marvel and her plucky gang of strong female characters came along to make things worse. To the surprise of nobody on the face of the planet, The Marvels is projected to tank hard at the box office, with early predictions putting its opening weekend in the range of $50 to $75 million, with a domestic total between $121 and $189 million. If this movie had a modest budget, they might be able to break even, but we're talking about a movie with a massive budget of over $270 million here. At the very least, it would need to hit $900 million to break even, and that's if we ignore the fact that Marvel is known for underreporting their budgets. How Marvel decided it was a good idea to spend $270 million on a movie like this is beyond me, but as we know, the sunk cost fallacy applies to this movie in a big way. Massive reshoots, delays, and mayhem behind the scenes all factored into what became a bloated, monstrous budget, and these predictions pretty much solidify what most of us already knew after hearing about all that. Marvel is going to take a major financial hit with this turd.
That is one big pile of shit.
Now, if you need some context to understand just how bad this is going to be, these projections are 72% worse than Quantumania, which also didn't break even at the box office. The Marvels is projected to have an opening weekend 50 to 60% lower than the first movie, which benefited from the Infinity War and Endgame hype. If that doesn't tell you how horrible the situation is for Marvel, then I don't know what will. But of course, we'll still have those wait and see people acting like these superhero movie flops haven't become predictable by this point. Not to mention the people who took the wrong lesson from the Barbie movie's success, where they saw one movie go woke and not go broke, so they ignored the hundreds that fell on their asses. Barbie actually leaned into the fact that it catered to a female audience, and it let women actually enjoy embracing their feminine side for a change, unlike the bland and stoic, strong female characters in this movie. The Marvels also doesn't have Barbie's genius manipulative marketing to trick people into thinking it's just goofy fun, when in reality it's a woke nightmare. Pretty much everyone knows what they're getting going into this shit.
Oh, somebody kill me, please!
The fact is, Marvel doesn't have the brand power it used to have. They can't just throw out any random movie and make $1 billion. They've upset and annoyed fans too much over the last few years, and even the general public is tired of it. We've seen top tier characters like Thor struggle at the box office, and even Guardians 3 didn't do nearly as well as it should have. They knew Brie Larson's Captain Marvel couldn't carry a movie on her own, since she's almost universally hated, although she's been relatively quiet in the past year or so. Guess there's only room for one horrifyingly cringy, spoiled, rotten queen of Hollywood at a time.
Weird.
Marvel's solution to the Captain Marvel problem was to hijack her sequel and turn it into a team-up movie, which might have worked if we got some cool characters. Unfortunately, we got stuck with other planks of wood Marvel felt would complement Brie Larson on screen. Maybe their thought process was to make Captain Marvel look good by throwing in some Phase 4 duds. Unfortunately, it just highlights how unlikable they all are, and the fact that nobody cares about any of these characters. Nobody wanted to watch shows focused on them, which explains Ms. Marvel's abysmal viewership numbers, and when they are remembered for something, it's in the form of a line so god-awful that it will live on in infamy.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
Adding to the drama, surprisingly, it seems like Brie Larson doesn't want to play Captain Marvel anymore. It seems like all those toxic trolls who did horrible things, like point out how self-congratulatory her movie was, or took issue with her blatant hatred of them, finally got to her. We already knew Marvel wanted her to be a future face for the MCU, and apparently she was supposed to do that alongside Spider-Man and Black Panther. But with the passing of Chadwick Boseman and the issues with the Sony Spider-Man deal, that quickly became impossible. Then you factor in Captain Marvel being the most unlikable MCU character, who fans couldn't stand, and Marvel had to rush to come up with a new plan. That's probably why we've barely seen Captain Marvel since Endgame. She's been relegated to cameo hell and sidelined in her own movie.
Get rid of her.
But yes, please keep blaming the fans. It's not your fault you took a steamy shit all over us. It's our fault we don't appreciate it like we should. After all, you're not a real Marvel fan if you don't blindly accept whatever they put in front of you, regardless of the quality. As fans, clearly it's not our job to have standards. It's our job to consume the sludge and thank our Disney overlords for allowing us to witness their greatness.
Don't ask questions, just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Honestly though, Brie wanting out isn't exactly breaking news. We've all seen how excited she gets at the prospect of playing Captain Marvel again.
I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Don't be so modest.
I don't know. I really don't know.
So it's not shocking to hear she's trying to distance herself from the character. She's not the only one distancing herself from this disaster though. Nia DaCosta, the director of the Marvels, is already saying things like how it's a Kevin Feige production, it's his movie, so I think you live in that reality. But I tried to go in with the knowledge that some of you is going to take a back seat. Yikes. Not how someone who's proud of their movie would act. She's already getting ready to shift the blame for this shit show onto Feige, who in fairness is definitely to blame for the terrible path Marvel has been on. It's hilarious to see these directors backpedal when they realize their movie is gonna tank. We saw it with Blue Beetle and The Flash, this is no different. In August, Nia was going on about how this movie would solve superhero fatigue, since it was different because it was, get this, wacky and silly. Yeah, because Thor Love and Thunder and Quantumania were pillars of seriousness and drama.
You serious?
The fact is, this news was a long time coming, and doesn't surprise anybody who's been paying attention to the superhero world and even Hollywood as a whole. Characters nobody cares about or likes, a bloated budget, massive reshoots and rewrites, behind the scenes drama, and a growing sense of apathy towards the MCU all set the stage for a terrible movie, and it seems like the Marvels is shaping up to be just that. Given the current state of the box office, when you look at just how successful this movie has to be in order to break even, it never had a fucking chance of doing that, so these projections make total sense. Marvel is looking at yet another loss in the realm of hundreds of millions of dollars, and things look like they're getting worse by the day. Marvel has damaged their brand in the eyes of so many people that it's hard to see a future where they can actually get back on track. But hey, on the bright side, if you go to see the Marvels, you'll probably have that theater all to yourself. So if you ever wondered how it would feel to have a home theater, now's your chance to find out.